Yeah, the charms you can put on the red strings.
Espérate. Ay, déjame apagar el celular.
What's up, Ben? Ben.
Let's go, guys. What's up?
At first, darkness. But soon a rhythm emerges. Percussions. I love percussions. It reminds me of home.
Reminds me of sweaty summer, sand, crazy hormones, and God, so much fun. Memories of bodies rubbing against each other.
Warm. But the sound gets louder. It's cold. I'm sliding down a tunnel. A voice says,
If it gets to be too much, squeeze my hand and I'll help you disappear.
and that's when I realize she's holding my hand. It's sweaty, sticky, and warm.
Focus on the drums.
I can feel each beat in my heart. I'm floating. I can see planets and stars up close. It's beautiful.
If you were floating in space, you'd find trillions of sources of sound, each with their own rhythm. I saw this NASA documentary once, and they play audio. I mean, actually, there's no sound in space because there are no molecules up there. And in order to create sound, you need molecules to move around. There's nothing in space. It's just space. Sound can't travel there, but they were recreating stuff from the Big Bang and Jupiter and other planets, and it was incredible.
I can't let myself be swallowed up by a black hole.
Your body would get shredded into a million little pieces.
You'd become stars. You'd become part of the universe. You'd be immortal.
I'm afraid.
The crazy thing is, when you scream in space, no matter how loud, nobody can hear you.
Nobody can hear you.
I bite my tongue. The percussion grows louder, distorted. I want to reach out to those warm hands from before. I want to disappear, but the hands, they're not there anymore.
Sometimes I lose the thing that I need the most at the worst possible moment.
You'll find other sweaty hands. You also find the keys that you lost 20 years ago, and the expired train tickets for trips to nowhere, and photos of lovers you can't even remember. Everything is so...
So stupid, really. So insignificant.
Sound. It gets louder. It's cold. They're pricking me with needles. I can't breathe. My head hurts. I'm having a panic attack. Wait!
It's beating. I found it. My heart.
You've always had it.
And just when I try to feel it, to hold it, it disappears. It's gone.
Black holes are dangerous.
I had it. I felt things. I was alive once. I had plans.
I will write poems in the sky. I will talk to angels. I will draw a spaceship and take flight. I will scream in space and everybody will hear me.
Not very practical plans, but
The doctor says.
you need to breathe.
He says. The nurse is holding my hand again. It's still sweaty and sticky and warm. You've got this, she says, but I don't believe her. I'm heading straight down a black hole head first, and I'm not even sure I'll be able to get out of it this time. My head is going to explode.
It's not for you to decide.
Why not? When will it be my turn to decide anything? Make your bed.
Do your homework. Sit straight. Don't talk back. Wear a skirt. You look like a boy.
Cross your legs. Chew with your mouth closed. Ah! Don't curse. Respect your elders.
Spin around.
Sit down. Stand up. Spin around. Cross your head.
Eat like you mean it. Say fuck once, twice, 3 times. Fuck, fuck, fuck.
Her heart is spiking.
The doctor says.
This is a clear example of a life made of bad decisions.
Unhelpfully.
I passed out.
I remember. I dream of a world where everything is alive. It palpitates. It breathes.
Breathe in, breathe out.
The nurse says.
You're gonna feel some discomfort now. Squeeze my hand and I'll make you disappear.
But her hand's not there anymore. How am I going to disappear now?
Squeeze the air. Squeeze your dreams. Squeeze all of the liquids out of your body. Let the black hole do its job. You don't need the sweaty-handed nurse.
I can feel the doctor's hands. Poking. Probing. Cold.
Focus on the drums. The drums are your heart, still beating, still alive.
Breathe in, breathe out.
The nurse repeats.
Let yourself dream.
I dream of a world of zero cruelty, a world in harmony with it. So I dream of a place where those words
Breathe in, breathe out.
become a mantra.
How do you remember this? This hasn't happened to you yet.
Past, present, future, we've always been here.
I dream. I feel fluid oozing through my veins. I dream with fluorescent veins and dragons that spit rainbows and not fire.
When did I stop dreaming?
Breathe in, breathe out.
There's a hole in my brain.
Would I shatter into a million pieces if I went through it?
You already have.
In Japan, when a piece of porcelain breaks, it gets glued with golden lacquer. The scars represent history, experiences lived.
A bright light. The percussion stopped. Silence. Oh, it's just a dot that might or might not disappear over time. It might or might not have repercussions.
Are percussions and repercussions related?
You're going home now.
The doctor says. Where is home? I ask.
Don't you go falling into black holes from now on.
Says the sticky-handed nurse. I smile. She smiles back. But how do I get out of here? Where do I go?
I'm proof that you're still going to be here at least for a little while.
You're too young to be me.
Go in circles.
Look, we're shining.
Regenerating. We're growing life.
What if I don't want to be alive anymore? What if this is all I can take?
Don't look at me. We've tried it before, remember?
Hole in my head.
Don't let the dreams escape. Breathe in.
Breathe out.
Thank you. Now we're going to set up for the documentary.
It's amazing how the shifted our perception. Oh, it wasn't that long
It's been such an amazing experience because, again, it's just completely opposite, right? Usually as a designer, we walk into a space that's already half created. You know, a writer has created a world for us. So this is really cool because it really allows us to flex all of our muscles as designers and just run with concepts. It's fun. It feels like back when I was taking my first design courses and like kind of falling in love with design.
I'm surprised with how much of a cohesive concept we've reached in such a short amount of time. Our images are looking very similar, like in the same language. So far, the experience has been a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
This entire journey has been like a total shock to me. I still haven't woke up to it. I'm still like processing that I am being a costume designer for Boundless, especially working with all these mentors helped us bring our thoughts together as designers and make us think on our own.
I'm like super excited to finally have like a script to really be able to start designing off of. I feel like I have a very specific idea of what I want the in-between character lighting to be, but I'm excited to figure out how to make it work.
I like the fact that the playwright brought all these elements of something dark. She made sure to put all of our elements in there, from the scenic designer to the lighting designer, and basically make sure that she implied all of our elements and reflected everything that we talked about.
My whole goal has been to create a space of ritual, a space that feels timeless, and incorporating the story that Mariana so artfully put together based off of all the conversations that we've had. So that's been an exciting part of the process too. It just keeps evolving and evolving, and I feel like we could work on this for years and it would just keep going. So that's the fun part, and also the challenge, right? Because you do have to define it, and you do have to eventually just make design choices and decisions. But it is cool to know that this is something that we could come back to and, you know, keep working on, and it would just continue to grow. So there's something really beautiful about that.
So I just try to like capture everything. Like I focused on like the takeover, like you know, taking over, the breakdown, the chaos. That's what I focused on.
I thought about each of the things that resonated and made sure that all the characters connected. So I got a lot of inspiration from Billie Eilish for this girl character. I thought about hair colors, and I just went to a whole nother dimension with this girl.
I had been looking for pictures that represented the image of a black hole, also like a desolate planet, as well as destruction.
I want to complete the connection between the girl and the goddess, so I plan on having them in similar lightings, which I'm trying to evoke the enchanted forest feel that is also present in the set design as well. And then for the in-between, I want it to feel very sterile and cold. So we're planning on having white fluorescence hanging from the grid to symbolize a hospital bed or an MRI tube or something of the sort.
I loved this image of the woman with, flowers coming out of her, which coming with the idea of the plants that we just mentioned, that's like plants are coming out of like places that they're not supposed to. I feel that with this image in particular, you have the divine feminine, but then it's also communion with nature and inner peace and blooming.
I wanted it to be a reflection of how nature has infiltrated the space, and it's a reflection of how, the girl and her future are sort of infiltrating her mind. Like the world is part of her, she's part of the world, and it's all connected.
Meeting the designers, that was an exciting and nervous experience because yes, I've seen them through Zoom and everything, but I just wanted first impressions, to be great. So I was just really happy to meet each and every one of them, and I'm so happy that we got to do this piece together.
Being able to finally see everybody in person, it was really cool because I was on the train on the way here, and I look up and Dalia's sitting right across from me. And then I got here, and then Munira was also super lovely, and they've both been helping me load everything in and hang all that you see here.
She wears a half mask with cables protruding from her scalp.
Meeting everyone in person has been great. Everyone's pretty much how they seemed on Zoom.
And Dalia is dancing.
Loading's been very fun. Everything is loaded in, but we still have to do focus, and then I'll start cueing the show after that. Hopefully I'll be able to see the show a little bit before starting to cue. It's a little, almost like a deja vu moment. I'm excited to see the finished project, but so far it's been really fulfilling, to look around and see something that came from us.
She's back. Do I have to do anything to turn these on? Hello? Huh? I don't know. Hello? Yes? Hello? No, so that one is not on yet. Okay. Hello. Hi. And welcome to this experiment called Boundless Exposed. My name is Maria Cristina Fuster. I'm the Executive Artistic Director of the company. And yes, here we are today at the final presentation. As you saw, this program is about the designers. It's about giving a voice to this beautiful and talented group of people that are here with us today. They all applied to be part of this program, and it was a very competitive, they went through a very competitive selection process. And yes, the point of the program is to give them the tools to let their imagination go, and in collaboration with mentors and Mariana Carreño, which is our playwright director that developed a play based on the research and all the explorations that the designers had. That's what you're seeing here today. So first, I want each one of you to introduce yourselves to the audience.
Hi everyone, my name is Mariana Morales and I'm a costume designer.
Hi, my name is Shannon Mejia and I'm the scenic designer. Hi, my name is Dalia Sevilla and I'm the lighting designer. Hi, I'm Mariana Sofia and I play in between. Hola, Jacqueline Guillen, I play girl. Hi, I'm Ana Sofia Colón and I play goddess.
Hi, I'm Mariana Carreño, I wrote and directed.
Yeah!
And here in Zoom, we have our costume design mentor, Danielle. And our other mentor is Regina Garcia. She's in tech right now. She's our set design mentor, so she wasn't able to join us via Zoom. So, okay, great. So let's have a conversation about what you guys saw and your experience. And I want to ask you, the three of you, don't look at me like that. Don't be scared. We've talked about this so many times. But I'm very curious to hear now that we've been here for a week together and creating the space and working so hard. I want to hear your final impressions of the whole experience. Who wants to start?
This has been such an incredible process. Like, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. It has been really amazing to see this all come together, especially watching the documentary and seeing some of the images that we started off with that I had like kind of filed away in the back of my mind, now be reintroduced and be like, wow, that like look, it's right, you know, like inspiration clearly like manifested itself in what we created. And yeah, it's been so fun to get to have the design be what inspired the play instead of the other way around, and also getting to see aspects of our research be introduced in the play as well. Yeah, and such an incredible opportunity to get to work with designers that I, you know, probably would have connected with eventually, but yeah.
Awesome. Shannon?
So because this was such a quick process, you know, it's not like a typical theater experience where you have like, you have deck and then you have preview, so it's like you've seen the thing to death. I mean, it's not, you know, true. So, you know, I feel like this was kind of almost like the first time that I got to really sit and experience it and really see all the hard work that everybody's put into it. And it just reminded me of how much I love the collaborative process of theater. You know, it's like, obviously I like what I did, but it was so nice to sit there and be like, holy shit, like the lights, you know, look so cool and they really bring up this moment, and you know, like the actors are doing such an incredible job with this, and you know, the costumes like just tied all together. So it was just nice to sit and be like, wow, like we made this thing together, and you know, thank you.
So it was like a exciting experience. I'm so happy that you chose me and then made me be a part of this experience and this opportunity. And I was like so shocked that everything, like just being with the designers and all the costumes and lights coming together and just working together like, every day, it was like a moment that I was trying to like, I still don't believe it's real. But like, I like, was like, this is something I ever, like, I could have never dreamed of. And I'm so happy that I worked with each and every one of you guys to bring this to life and to bring Lifeline to life. Like, I can't believe Maria, Christina, and Mariana, like, brought all this together and made this program for us to like show our art and show our work. So I'm really thankful for this.
Thank you for being part of it. Oh my God, it's so exciting. Yeah, so I have a question for the actresses. How do you feel about being part of this process? Because it definitely was something different, you know, very quick process, the implementation of the design and how you guys were introduced into this design and made part of it. How do you feel? Do you have anything to say about it?
Well, it's terrifying at first because you have like 2 weeks to memorize everything, and then you come on stage. But I feel like working with Mariana and all the designers, there's so much support in the space, so you definitely feel the air that you're making something and you're telling a story. And I think that once you walk through the door, it gets rid of the fear that you have about it. And now you just want to feed into that energy and keep giving that.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's strange to get to perform in such a quick rehearsal process. Usually it's like a reading, but it was a lot of fun to just kind of show up this week after having 1 or 2 Zoom rehearsals because we're so tired of those. And walking into the space, kind of pretty much finished, was very cool. Usually as the actor, you like get to see the set, you know, blank slate, and then it kind of starts evolving around you. But here we were just like the last piece to come in. It was very scary because we signed on to this knowing that it wasn't about us. And now we have to deliver in 2 days. She said 2 weeks of memorization. That's being very generous. It was more like it was a lot of fun, and seeing everybody else's work and getting to work with 2 new people that I've never worked with in this type of project was a lot of fun.
I mean, when I first read the play, I was interested as to how it was going to come to life. It seemed something so personal and something so abstract in the best way possible, of course. I love you too. But it was just honestly like what Jackie said, what everybody has been saying, just working with the people and seeing that like, you know, like we are here to help you guys discover your work. And, you know, I just feel very blessed or whatever for being a part of this process. And I hope that we help you guys if they achieve that. So hashtag blessed, hashtag thank you all for coming, means the world, for keeping the arts alive.
Thank you. All right, so I want to open up the discussion to the audience. Does anyone have any questions for the designers or Mariana, myself, or the actresses? Yes? Let me get this to you. So everyone can hear you.
First of all, congrats to Boundless. I don't know of any other theater in New York who is working in this way, and you know, designers first, and I think it's amazing. I guess what was, you know, this is, like I said, nobody works this way except you guys, which is great. What was the first step? Was there an idea, an image, a word that you guys Like, where did you start from?
So the first thing, we were given a prompt, which was to write about something, pick something that we couldn't live without, and then imagine a world where that thing was in abundance and a world where there was a scarcity, or a world without it. And then from there we found images that we felt represented those things in both versions of the world. Do you guys? Mine was plants. And so in my world of abundance, there were plants everywhere. It was a world where there needed to be an abundance of plants in order to save the world from global warming and all that thing. And so everything was covered in plants from head to toe. And, a world of scarcity was desolate, Mars-like, that sort of thing. And then the other people on the team challenged me to think of if, like, an abundance of plants is always necessarily a positive. And then I started thinking about, like, the destructive properties that plants can have as well.
Yeah, so just to continue, like, where Dahlia was going with that, so mine was peace. Because for me, I can't live without peace. I could probably go through anything, be in any circumstance, but if I don't have my peace, like, I literally can't function. And so I started thinking about what that meant to me. And of course, like, I gravitated towards nature as well. And then thinking of, that infiltration aspect, I took a lot of inspiration from, like, the books / movies like Annihilation, kind of how it's like nature is almost like morphing people into something else. And so transformation in general was a huge inspiration for everything that you see. It was almost like I wanted it to feel interconnected, but also wrong in a way. Like, something's off, but it's turning into something beautiful at the same time. And so,
yeah. My, like, piece that I chose when we were writing this whole thing, I chose a person. I chose my favorite artist, Rihanna. Of course. I can't live without her. I listen to her every day. So, hashtag Rihanna Island. So, I didn't want to kill her off. So I had, like, a world where she got taken by aliens. And it was like, I can't kill off Rihanna because I would just die. I don't know. But I did that, and then I resonated with a place that looked like this, like a beach with Barbados and tropical, and playing Rihanna all day and selling her products. And it was just, like, crazy. And so we also I resonated with the plants and everything, and we all connected with me. When we connected, we talked about plants and space and aliens and all that stuff, and that's how we got the the space incorporated into it. And yeah, basically that's how we got to Lifeline and made this whole thing.
Wait, yeah, really quickly, for, like, the 3 figures, I took a lot of inspiration from, like, the 3-headed goddess, so like the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And so that's what ended up, kind of inspiring their characters. So it's like the past, the present, and the future, how it's like all interconnected, and how, it's all part of the same thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
An incredible piece, and I can't believe that all you wonderful people put this together. together in less than a week. Is that what I'm hearing? It's incredible. I'm hearing, I'm seeing this. I saw the other piece. Even if I hadn't seen the documentary, the idea of what this play is about came across, the whole point of Mother Nature, about rebuilding and how it's necessary to have decay and destruction in order to rebuild. And I hear about the prompts of peace and nature and plants, and about glorious, powerful women like Rihanna, who's currently pregnant right now, and is the epitome right now of Mother Nature, if you think about it. So I'm just floored by the lovely actors that we had, how this all came together, synchronicity, the planning that this was. I mean, there are productions I've seen that they take months and they don't have this thought behind it. This is amazing. And I just felt that peace here. I also felt the darkness of what the main character was going through. I understood what was happening. And I just have to say bravo to each and every one of you, and to see all the Latin faces in the crowd. Woo! Thank you! And the people of color, thank you! And the women, thank you for giving birth to this beautiful, beautiful piece of art. Congratulations to each and every one of you. And the playwright, thank you so much for giving birth to this. Literally. Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience?
I think she had one.
Can I stand up? No, I don't
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
stand
you
up.
can.
Hi, my name is Maria. I'm actually the PR and communication specialist of the piece. And I'm really shocked. I mean, I've been we've been working hard at promoting the piece and Boundless Theater in general. And it's like blown my mind. So I have a comment and then a question. The comment is, it's blown my mind. Congratulations. I have a background in architecture, and then I became a communication specialist. And my specialization is sensorial or phenomenology design. And that's where my question comes from. Was phenomenology, or what I am gonna call, because I don't know if it exists, sensorial theater at all, a concept? Because to me, it like touched all of my senses. And I don't think I've ever been to a play or a piece that has done that, also as a consumer. So that's my question. Was sensorial theater intentional?
Hi, thank you. Not on purpose. I do think that when we think about theater, we think about all our senses. And I do approach writing and directing from a sensorial point of view, from like sensorial memories, like ideas. Like I'm always asking, like, well, what would the space smell like? What would it feel like? What would be the textures? And I know the audience is not gonna smell or touch, hopefully, a lot of stuff, but there's always that thought. So I've never approached it as a thing like, oh, this is what I'm doing. To me, it's just a medium that is by nature sensorial. Does that make sense? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mariana. Anyone else? Yes? Oh, yes. You should introduce yourself, first of all. Or maybe I should introduce you very quickly. She was part of Boundless Exposed 2020, which happened only on Zoom, because we did it in the middle of the pandemic. It was June 2020. And they designed, also Amber is here. Amber was part of Exposed back then also. And they had to design everything from home. Amy was in Taiwan. So imagine the time differences and all that. It was incredible that she was able to join us. And then here in New York at Teatro Círculo, Jorge Diepa, which is here too, which is one of the founders of the program, he was the set design mentor. We implemented the designs with them via Zoom. It was insane. Okay. But something that we will never forget.
Hi, thank you, Maria, Christina, for the introduction. And I guess first of all, congratulations on completing such a wonderful production. And I think, like you say, yeah, it's like I find like this experience truly immersive, touching, and also, yeah, it just feels like very intimate and something that's very special, especially like in this time, like during the time of COVID and when people and everything's sort of like isolated. Yeah, so I really enjoy this experience. Something that I was really impressed was that I just found like in addition to like such like a lively and intimate experience, I feel like the set, the costume, and like the lighting, like everything was sort of like interconnected, like, and then they just like fit together like very well. Especially for example, like it feels like the boundaries are almost like blurred. For example, like the lighting feels like part of the set, and also like the costume, like and the set, it feels like it's like almost like an inseparable piece. So I think it really, I guess it really challenges and like sort of like redefines like the different various disciplines in theater, which I found very inspiring. So I'm just wondering, hearing like the starting point of your like initial thoughts. I found like it intriguing because some of them like are concrete and some of them are like more abstract. So how do like these ideas like fit together, and then how do you find the sort of like cohesiveness that really ties this piece together so well? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the designers talk a little bit about the prompt that they got, and that was basically the starting point. We've done, when you did it, we started from a text, and usually that's the starting point. This time we started from an abstract idea, which was the idea of an abundance or something, and the shortage of something, of your favorite things. So that was kind of like the starting point, and then everybody started pretty much dreaming aloud on like, what does that mean? What does this world look like? Sensorial, what does it smell like? What does it feel like? Like, how do people live? And it's a pretty abstract process. Like, if you dropped into any of our conversations, you would think that we all are really, really high, because like it makes no sense, but it kind of does. And somehow we go from the abstract to the concrete.
Yeah, as an observant of the meetings and as a guide to them, I was amazed of how I would tell them, okay, next week you need to bring more specific research. Let's narrow it down to an idea. And then when they came back, the three of them have very similar research. It's just the way it happens. Every year happens that way. It happened with your group. It happened last year. The way they connect and the way they talk to each other, somehow the ideas start making sense altogether. Jorge, do you want to say something? Diepa?
Hi, my name is Jorge Diepa, and I started this with Maria Cristina some years back, and it's always fun and great to create, right? And from something, it's just a little spark, that that starts everything, and it keep growing, and all the ideas just get to a point where they just there's a synergy, and there's something new from that. I want to just ask how you guys come. You started with the ideas. Then what happened? I want to know more about the storytelling. How the storytelling entered into this process.
I don't know. It was a pretty organic way. Like we started talking about things that were in common with their ideas, and things that were in common were dark holes. It was nature overgrown, and there was some discussion about the multiplicity of selves, like living in different parallel timelines or universes. Like one of them was like, well, when you're 5 and then you grow up, you're still 5 and you're still 7 and you're still 9, you're still 20 or 40 or whatever, and how those different sort of like universes live together in different planes. That's what I'm like, okay, we were not high, I promise you. We were not. But it started with that. And then I had an idea before that because I had gotten an MRI and I found the experience to be like super interesting and super trippy. So I was like, well, what if this is like going down to like that sort of like tunnel? What if you're like in that in between? Oh, because we also talk about the before and after. Yeah. Like there are events that are before that have a before and they have an after. Like your parents' divorce, 9/11, like whatever. There is a before this happened and an after this happened. So what would happen in between? And we started playing with that idea. And then I just started writing like based on those ideas that they were like throwing my way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does, Mariana. Anyone else? One more question. Okay, Jorge.
Okay, first of all, thank you for this, Maria Cristina and all of you. I feel it's really important to establish these connections now that we're coming together, seeing each other in person is super important. These conversations are important, so thank you. First of all. Then, second, I wanted to speak about the sensorial aspect in terms of how much of the visual, of the costume, of the set design, of the lighting design was in, like how much of it was in your mind already before the text? Like how much of it, how was the conversation? Was like there a visual inspiration for the text, or first there's a conversation where you throw a little bit something to the author and then the author throws something again, then out of that you design something else? How's the process? Is it more first visual or is it a little bit more give and take?
So it was like, at first it was, first the designers spoke about it and we were like, oh, so like, where do you want to go from here? And we started thinking about like the 3 goddesses, is it 3 goddesses? Yeah, so Shannon came up with the 3 goddesses idea and I was like, what is that about? Like, she was, oh, something about the moon, and she started explaining and I was like, okay, this is a deep explanation for all this, okay? So I was like, okay, so we're just gonna go with this, and then Mariana, she started writing, and then we started like throwing things back at each other, and then I started like coming up with the costumes, and I was like, let there be a goddess costume. I was like, goddess and warrior, and then I was like, but I would still want her to be strong. I still want the girl to be strong, even though she's kind of weak. So 3 characters came together, and it was just like, which one is the weak one? Which one is this? And it just came all together, and it's just like, I was thinking about like what can I do to bring each of the things that to life. And so I came up with a goddess costume, and I wanted her to wear a dress. And I was like, she's not so much of a goddess, maybe she's a dirt god or something like something like from the earth. So I couldn't think of like an earth goddess or something like that, but we all came up with something like that. So
Yeah, so I think a lot of our concepts came about organically, but then once Mariana kind of started putting, dialogue and characters and action into what we were saying, it evolved from there. So the original concept stayed the same, but, like scenically, I started to think, okay, so now I have these 3 characters. Where can I place them to make it clear that one is present, one is in between, one is past? And then, trying to make each space definitive. So it's definitely both. But because of the nature of the Boundless process, the design came first, and then like after Mariana started, putting her art into the process, then we adapted to that.
And I think that for me, all of my most of my research images were either black and white or green. And I think that clearly like came into play in my final design, as well as I wanted to play with the idea that the brightest place wasn't the best place to be, that the darkness was inviting as well. And once the script came to life, I was able to identify like specifically what those colors represented, that the bright was this like sterile hospital environment, and that the like dim green forest was like magical, but also strange. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Do you have a question?
Hi. So just one little question. This probably, this probably won't make that much sense, but I hope it does. So I like the charms, and I like how it kind of made the audience kind of design the set a little bit. Okay, so my question is, where did that come from? Like, who designed that?
You stole my question.
Thank you. So through my journey as a designer, I realized that I gravitate a lot towards rituals that we as humanity like to, implement. And so I knew that this space, based off of everything, we wanted it to feel like a sacred space, but also a place where people come together to either share or commune or, experience something all within the aspect of community. And so I took inspiration from things like prayer flags or like wish trees, where, you come and you kind of place your vulnerability on a public altar of sorts. And so that's what all of the charms kind of represent, like it's a little piece of all of us that we get to, hang up, and it's part of the world, and it's part of what we share with each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Thank you. Danielle, do you hear me? Yes. I want to hear from you. Danielle, this is the first time that she mentored in Boundless Exposed, and I just want to hear your impressions of your experience with the designers.
Well, first of all, everyone can give everyone here a round of applause. I don't think any of these people have slept in maybe a week, and I'm just so impressed with everything that they've done, especially the digital format. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
So I'm going to start it off. my experience with these designers? Well, first of all, I remember when I first heard everyone's reactions to the prompt. And one, Munira, I loved the Rihanna response. I thought that that was so fun and so genius, and yet it's still related to everybody else. I was just really impressed with the creativity, and like MC was saying, how all of their inspiration sort of like tied together in odd and unique ways. And so they were able to come up with a really cohesive concept that I think really propelled what you see now. And I think it's amazing and beautiful, particularly in working with Munira. Munira is incredibly inspired, enlivened, always positive, super open to feedback. We had really great discussions, and we got really in depth about like, what does character mean? What does it mean to explore the visuals, but also like, what is the text saying? And so like, that was really fun for me to work with you, Munira, about around all of that. And mostly I was just like really inspired by what you all came up with, especially like the black hole idea coming up and up and up and again, and plants just consuming everything, but in sort of like a positive, good way. And I don't know, it was really layered, and I was just incredibly impressed and inspired by everybody, and it was an honor to be a part of this project, so thanks for inviting me.
Thank you everyone for being, yes? Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to talk about the experience working with Danielle. And like, I guess we can all talk about like how we met with the mentors and stuff like that, being that we all like worked with each mentor. Like I loved working with Danielle, and one-on-one, she like helped me bring like each idea to life about the goddess and the in-between character and the girl character. We spoke about it every day, but the most hardest like character to come up with, like the design for her, was the goddess character. And I was like, I need some help. She was like guiding me like most of the way, and I was just like so inspired and so excited to learn from her. So I was just like, even though she was like far away, I felt like she was right there in my ear, just whispering things while I was drawing and while I was coloring in, and just like, she was like a little fairy, like right there. So I'm so thankful for her mentoring me, and I'm so glad I got to work with her. So thank you.
Okay, so thank you all for, again, for being part of this process. And what I was gonna say, remember that every time you go see a show, there's all this happening backstage and all this process that is incredibly fruitful and just crazy and exciting. And I want to congratulate you all. I want to say that I'm incredibly proud of the work that you built. I adore you all, and I hope that you, all of you, as well as everyone here in the room, find Boundless to be their home. It's always open to all of you and to add ideas, and we welcome you to our company. Thank you very much, and have a good night.